Come here. Get off.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Turn On. Today we're going to read from Fire Baptized by Kenya Wright, which was published in 2012. Sit back, relax, get your wine, get your weed, get your whatever you need, and enjoy.
Fire Baptized by Kenya Wright. An hour later, I lounged on my bed, encased in a fuzzy purple robe. Meshach was positioned behind me, moving his fingers across my scalp. He promised to do my hair after my shower. I wouldn't bet money on Larry being the murderer. Meshach applied beeswax to the root of my dreadlock and twisted it. It might not be him. I'm ignoring that comment. I told Meshach everything, leaving out Zulu and Ray's monster forms. My bed wobbled as he rearranged himself at my side. His long legs barely gave me any space to sit. Two silver and turquoise pixies used his toes as jungle gyms. They climbed through them, chasing each other and laughing. He wiggled his feet and growled, and they jumped in the air, flapping their turquoise wings. I just don't want you to think you're safe when a killer could still be out there, he said. Larry couldn't be. Drop it, Meshach. I just wanted to relax and forget about tonight. The scent of lavender caressed my nose and rivaled the sharp smell of beeswax. All 50 candles were spread around the room. Some were placed on my bookshelf, dripping wax onto the plum carpet. Others hovered over my bed by easy-to-do suspension spells that I had shoplifted from Witchmart. Proofreading Meshach's essay, I put a red slash over 2 words. What did you mark? Meshach stopped rubbing his fingers through my locks. I'm not going to read this if you question every revision I make. I hid the pages against my chest. You'll proofread it or I won't do your hair. Hey, I'm doing you a favor too. It's 1 a.m. I turned to the next page, and I've had a rough night. He didn't admit to killing her. What? I reread a sentence. The Larry guy never said he killed her. Sighing, I turned to the last page. Just leave it alone. Just don't let down your guard. Meshach pulled my dreadlocks into a ponytail. I'll walk you home into your classes. You should let Ray continue to guard you. I got queasy at the mention of Ray's name. I won't need his services. Stubborn ass, he muttered under his breath. Narcissistic furball. Meshach snarled, putting the beeswax on my dresser. I wrote down comments at the end of the essay and set it on my nightstand. He prowled toward my bookcase and scrutinized the pile of library paperbacks I checked out 2 days ago. He held one up and read the title. Dating Yourself and How to Woo You. Are you really reading this? No. I let out a nervous laugh. Please, put it down. Tonight is the night when you've taken yourself out for the second time. Meshach read the sentences that I'd highlighted. I covered my face as he continued. Don't be nervous because you're going to rock your world. Play your favorite music. Pour yourself some wine. Okay, give it to me. I jumped off my bed holding out my hand, but he kept reading. Remember, you're making love to yourself. No spell condoms necessary. I sent flames to his arm and put them out when he dropped the book. Have you made it to second base with yourself? He examined his scorched arm as it healed, then chuckled. It's none of your business. He blurred toward me. Suddenly, his face was an inch from mine. I'm more than willing to handle your needs. He leaned in closer. His lips touched the skin around my brand, making me shiver. I tilted my head away. Thanks for the offer, but I'm not interested. I miss hearing you scream my name. He tugged at my robe's belt, and how you would take me in any position and push me over the edge. I avoided his eyes. I'm tired and I just want to go to sleep. Just one kiss. He wrapped his hands around my waist and I sent fire to them. Hissing, he jumped back, shaking the flames away. No kissing. I headed to my bed. Damn it. I should have let him do my hair on the couch. He stood a few feet away from me and licked his lips. His eyes went into predatory mode, following my every movement. The gold flecks in his eyes gleamed. I was going to have to burn him again. I could see it in his eyes. Werecats and their constant need to poke and bat at things. Sighing, I took off my robe and climbed into bed. He noticed I was wearing one of his frat shirts and grinned as if he won a major competition. Out freaking standing. I turned off my lamp. Are you dismissing me? Mishak jumped on my bed and the headboard hit the wall. Stop, you're going to wake Ben. He's in my room, sleeping. His face glowed within the candle's light. I can hear him snoring, don't worry. Humming, he rearranged his head on my pillow. I glared at him. Fine, you don't want me to touch you, but I'm sleeping here tonight, Mishak said. Ben sleeps like a semnocardium sac. What does that even mean? The double-walled sac and shifters that envelops the heart and attaches to the breastbone. It constantly reshapes so it won't crush the heart in. No, please stop. I can't take it anymore. I covered his mouth, and he gently bent my hand. I put Ben at the top of the bed. 10 minutes later, his head is at the bottom. The next hour, he's hanging off the edge. Mishak pulled off his jade pajama pants, exposing chocolate briefs that wrapped around his muscular thighs like skin. Plus, he pissed the bed. He sleeps with you tomorrow night. No way. You volunteered for this week. I extinguished all but 3 of the candles and slapped his hands as he tried to take off his briefs. And you're not sleeping in the nude. Prude. He sucked his teeth. A sexual deviant? Can you play with my hair until I fall asleep? He poked his lips out and unraveled his braid, and kinky curls fell around his shoulder. What do I get out of it? I'll take 2 weeks of dishes. Deal. I buried my fingers in his curls, and silk surrounded my fingertips. He closed his eyes. Lilac filled the air. Damn it, Mishak, you use my shampoo without asking? You always steal the high-end stuff. He scooted closer to me and turned around. Not that I approve of your thievery. I stroked his scalp in a circular motion. A loud purring erupted from his throat. The bed vibrated. I giggled and slid my finger to the area behind his ears. You really think Larry isn't the killer? I asked, trying to concentrate on something else besides the heat radiating from his skin. It was smoother than I remembered. I squeezed my thighs together to calm myself down. Sex with Mishak would be too complicated. Be careful, Lenore. I don't want to talk about Larry right now. He stirred as I massaged his neck and raked my fingers through his soft hair. Curls spilled over my hands and arms. I guided my fingers down to the curve of his neck. A low rumble came from his throat. He quickly faced me, his eyes shifted to feline, glimmering within the candle's light. You want me to stop? I asked. Saying nothing, he gripped my waist. His eyelids hung lazily, half closed as if he was going to sleep. I'll massage your back if you take my dishes for 2 more weeks. Smiling, I glided my nails down his chest. He bit his lip and arched his back. Okay, maybe I had gone too far. I moved my hands away from him. He growled. You're lucky you have on my frat shirt or I'd tear it off. He rubbed his hand against my breast. His hand slid down from my waist, caressing my thigh and moving toward the middle of my legs. I gasped and scooted backward. I said massage, not sex. You're single? I'm single. Mishak stopped purring. I still have feelings for you. I got under my blanket. He dove under the covers, pressing his body against me before I could escape. My heartbeat increased and I focused on breathing. His hands went to the bottom of my shirt. If you don't stop, then you'll have to sleep on the couch. Just one kiss. His fingers pressed against mine before I could say no. My mouth opened automatically, welcoming his tongue and tasting honey. Damn, I miss this. But I dragged myself away from his soft lips. Good night, I whispered. He kissed my ex-brand and then the area around it. A trail of pleasure rippled down my body and ended at my toes. Maybe we can just make out for a little bit. I relaxed as he went to my ear, sucking on the tip, his tongue tracing it. I curled my toes. I'll get you another one. He clutched my shirt's neckline and ripped it. Wait, I gasped, heart pounding. The shirt flapped open, exposing my breasts. His mouth traveled to my neck, and I bit my lip, not wanting to stop. Fuck it. I wanted him right here and now, and I would think about the consequences tomorrow. He nipped at my chin and headed for my cleavage. Yes. Sparks flickered within my chest. I closed my eyes, relishing in the way his tongue flicked over my nipple and then encased it with his moist mouth, sucking and tugging until I dug my fingernails into his shoulders and moaned. Heat surged through me, moistening my panties. This is overdue. He gently bit the other nipple. Do you know how many times I lie in my bed listening to you moan and hear the hum of your vibrator? No, I kissed his brand. Is that why you keep breaking my vibrators? Yes, he hissed, and because you and your body belong to me. I sighed, pulling away. If we have sex tonight, it's just a one-time thing. Fine, he mumbled. I'm serious. I targeted his eyes. A thunderous growl shot from his throat. The skin on his face pushed forward as if something inside him was clawing its way out. His beast. I jumped back. Does your beast understand that this is a one-time deal? I asked. Of course not. If it was up to him, you'd be chained to my bedpost. The blanket moved as his hand slid between my thighs. Wait, Meshach, we shouldn't. His fingers dove inside my panties. A lusty heat rushed between my legs. I moaned, my mind in a daze as he stroked the area. My mate, he purred. I put my hands to his arm, his muscles flexed under my touch. I barely caught my breath as his finger entered me. I love you, he whispered. I arched into his huge hand, taking pleasure in his calloused fingers as they glided between me. So good. I moaned, licking my lips, and pleasure exploded within me. He continued to thrust his finger in and out. His mouth went back to my breast, licking around my nipple and then sucking it hard. I let my head fall back and moaned, Mishi. God, I've missed hearing that. I couldn't wait anymore. I tugged at the top of his briefs, wanting to touch the one thing I'd missed so much this year. It would be hard and ready to satisfy any desire for as long as it took. The phone in the kitchen rang.
Welcome back. We just heard an excerpt from Fire Baptized by Kenya Wright. So, Kenria, this book was an interesting one. Very different from my normal reading. It had fairies and weremongers, cats.
Is that like a mythical whoremonger?
Yeah, it's a mythical whoremonger.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, niggas still exist.
True shit.
And their mythical form are weremongers.
Yes, I like it.
Okay, so give us a little background on the story itself.
So this is the first book in a series, and I think it's built as an interracial paranormal series, which is interesting. I know.
Okay.
And it's super well written, and I like sci-fi, whatever. It took me years to admit to myself that I like sci-fi.
Well, I'm glad you do, because if this was an Erica chosen story, if this was an Erica book, if the stories in this podcast were only chosen by Erica, it would be like hood love and nigga sex. So
all of which is valid.
All of it
But
is
it's
valid.
a nice mix.
Yeah, so we need more. And you're bringing more by finding us these mythical paranormal stories that also feature really hot, steamy romance.
Yes, and Black people.
Yes.
So this story is set in this place, and it's called Santeria. It's basically off their religion. But so basically everyone who is not a quote unquote typical human, like who doesn't have powers, who is they call them supernatural. They're all corralled in this one area. It's basically like putting them all in a ghetto.
In a slum or something.
Yeah. And then they have a wall around where they live, and they are not allowed to go out and interact with the quote unquote normal people, which is fucked up, obviously. But then, so even within the soups, there's a lot of different types of folks, like you mentioned. So there's vampires, there's shifters, which are like shapeshifters. There's like werefolk, people like werewolves and cheetahs and cats and all kinds of shit, and more that I'm not thinking. Oh, and fairies. And then there are people who are like our main character, Lenore, who are called mixies. And she's called a mixie because she's a mix of two different types of soups. And the mixies are at the bottom of the culture within Santeria because, of course, folks always find a way to put themselves higher on the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And she's
white
black.
supremacy just permeates every fucking thing.
It is a smog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Lenore is black and she's a mixie, and they have like brands on their heads so you can look and like tell that it's an X on her fucking head. And from the very first page, you see how she's treated and how folks talk to her because she's a mixie. So it's interesting because while they live in this world that is not our world, the bullshit that black women are subjected to still is a very real part of her life every single day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this was a really great. The scene that we picked was great because I feel like it was so intimate. Like when I first started reading it, I was just like, this just feels cozy,
like lived in,
intimate. Yeah, like I could just like feel myself in the space. And I really like how they started off with rubbing each other's hair,
like sitting there retwisting her hair.
Oh,
like it shows the depth of their relationship, like how long they've known each other. Does she trust that nigga in her head?
Yeah, that's so personal. So for me, and I don't even have a lot of hair, but if you want me to just melt in your arms, rub my hair.
Yes.
Against the grain. With the grain.
Yeah,
not against the grain. Don't be fucking up my waves. But yeah, rub my hair, play in my scalp. Like it was just such a sweet, intimate moment. And it just showed the depth of the friendship between the two of them. Give me a little bit of background on their living situation.
So they live in the same apartment. They have separate rooms. They grew up together. I think both of their parents were maybe using drugs, or it was some situation which feels familiar, where they were kind of thrust together when they were super young. And so they grew up together and they had dated before, but now they just live together in the same space.
Okay. And you can tell that there's like years of intimacy built between the two of them. Quick question for you. Would you ever fuck a werecat or a fairy or a...
I mean, I don't see why not. It's so fucking random.
There's so many like variables that have to like work in order to make this question.
Everybody's got to have the
right
equipment,
sockets for the plugs.
Right. Well, but sex is bigger than penetrative. So I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot
Maybe
you
got one
can
of
do.
werecat tongues, but cat tongues are scratchy, right?
They are scratchy.
Ooh, but that might be good on like a back. I mean, I might not need that on my clit, but it's probably like good for like a good back scratch.
I'm not mad at
some
it.
Exfoliation or something.
Yeah, I mean, and they're adults, so I mean, fuck, you're consenting and you're figuring it out. I don't see why not. Yeah, but so she, of course, in the book though, he's in his human form as they're starting things, but then he
but
starts
coming out.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, wow.
This could be interesting.
This could be very interesting. I like it. So this kind of the bigger question that I have that kind of runs through this entire scene is, could you could you be friends with like a former? Well, so when we were thinking about planning out this episode,
Yeah.
we were talking about like the big question was, can men and women just be friends?
Right. And we think, yeah.
Of course, like
I've got friends who I never would even consider fucking.
yeah. I mean, like it's one of those things. Yeah, I think if you're adults can be friends. But when you take it a little deeper, could you be friends with a former fuck buddy? Or boyfriend?
I mean, I think you can. I think it's possible. Am I? No.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just because a lot of my relationships did not end
Very
well. Or even if they did, like I've definitely had some where I was just like, all right, I'm out. And they were like, okay. And then we just kind of went our own ways. And it wasn't like we had ill will. It was just we didn't want to spend time together anymore. So if I ain't want to spend time with you as a, as a partner, I don't really want to spend time with you as a friend.
Yeah, I don't think I have any real relationship. I'm trying to think. Yeah, most of the guys that I once dated, I have a few that still keep in touch, but I feel like they still keeping in touch
On the off chance that you're gonna throw in some pussy.
Yeah, see if it's still warm, and you might still be around on the off chance that
Right.
that I want to keep it warm.
Yeah.
But I also feel like they don't cross that line, and I feel like the main character Lenore here was definitely setting herself up.
Yeah.
Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
She was.
Y'all, like, you flat out told this man, I still got feelings for you.
Right.
And then he in your bed playing in your hair. You wearing his shirt. Like, this was just a complete and utter. This is one of those, like, have you seen that that meme? And it was like, if you went over there just to talk while you shave.
Yes, I have.
That's one of those things. Like,
yeah,
girl,
yeah. It reminds me of damn, what's that movie with the black people? Neil Long and Lorenz Tate. He like, I just want to come up and talk. Like,
oh, Love Jones.
Yes.
Okay, so we had like, there's a whole group of people probably listening, ready to scream that you forgot.
But I know, whatever. It was one of my favorite movies for a really long time. It probably still is, but I think I get so frustrated, and I think it's a thing that comes up in a lot of rom-coms where things could just be solved with a simple conversation. So I get so fucking frustrated when cats like leave town and see somebody in the bookstore, and then rather than just going in or hitting them up on their cell phone, they put their head down all crestfallen and go home. Bitch, be a woman and have a conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's why this takes us back to the previous episode that we recorded where I was like, if I'm feeling something, I'm just gonna tell you. Like, if I love you, I'm gonna say I love you. I mean, I'm telling you because I want you to know. I need you to know I have all the information, you know. So in case you see me in a bookstore, I love you. So come and say something.
So
Shoot
much
your
of the
shot,
hijinks
nigga.
could be avoided if folks just had actual conversations. So yeah.
But I will admit, I don't remember seeing Love Jones.
Bitch, what?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that I haven't seen. Maybe I saw it and just wasn't paying attention. I don't think I've seen it.
Really?
I know. And I know. Okay.
I saw it.
Winter's coming. Don't worry. I'll
Girl, I
rectify
got it on DVD.
But I ain't got a DVD player. What are you
I
talking
do.
about?
I have one.
Yeah.
That I haven't turned on in probably 3 years. I used to use it for like teaching.
It don't even work, probably.
No, it works. Okay. It totally does. Yeah, yeah. I used to like use it to watch like teaching my kids Spanish. Like I had little DVDs and be like, baby, bebe.
Baby. Why your Spanish from New Orleans?
All right. And then like that's how I taught her sign language with DVDs or whatever. But now you can stream all that stuff. But technology changes very quickly. But all that to say that I have Love Jones, and it lives in my heart. And I'm sorry to all of the folks who are screaming right now.
Well, they probably
bitch forgot.
They probably put your screams away and added pulled out screams for me. Like,
right.
This bitch hasn't seen it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, if you can avoid looking at Lorenz Tate's fucked up ass hairline the whole movie,
girl,
it's so bad.
Like, y'all ain't had no good barbers.
I don't understand. Is it because he a Renaissance man? He don't give a fuck about his line, his shape up. Like, the fuck? It's so terrible the whole time. Whatever.
That's the worst. Okay, so back to relationships with former friends, friends with benefits, that kind of former fuck buddies, friends with benefits. How do you feel about your partner having relationships?
Oh, wait, no, back up. I do have one friend who I used to fuck.
Okay.
Who we're still friends, and we're fine. We don't have no weird tension, no nothing. It works out well.
That's pretty cool.
But it's one, yeah.
I'm gonna have to. It's so cool that I can't remember who it is.
I don't know how to tell you without saying it.
Yeah.
Tell you later.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're so cool that I can't even remember. Okay,
Yeah.
well that's good. Does your partner know that y'all used to?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to like.
Yeah,
be
he
like,
knows.
there's gonna be a very special conversation in your home after this.
He does know. Yeah. But we rarely ever see each other. We live in different cities, so.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
no, I got it.
Yeah.
See, now stories come back.
And then there was another one, right, who I was friends with, and then we were together, and then we went back to being friends, and then we got back together after we both got divorced. So that happened there too. Now we're not friends no more.
Yeah. Well, and I think the friendship. Do you think that? Well, I think, but do you think that the friendship was?
Oh, it was absolutely keeping a pin in it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, we were friends. We were legitimate friends, but
I think that's why people are often so hesitant to want to allow their partner want their partner to be friends with
somebody who they used to fuck with,
because they've been in that situation where
they knew they was holding a pen for somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
yeah. That situation was a total, like, what if, if we're ever both in a situation where we could be together, how would that be? And then it happened and blah.
But I think also, again, it's just, trusting that you're not with some dick of a partner that is going to, I mean, no one wants to feel like their partner has somebody on the back burner.
Well, and I think part of... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, please. Nope. No, ma'am.
At the same time, like, it is what it is. Shit happens. That's a reality at times.
Yeah.
And so let's not, like, fool ourselves. And it took a while to get here, but I am firmly in the... I ain't trying to keep a nigga that ain't trying to be kept camp.
Exactly.
And so it ain't...
If I gotta be sitting here worried about this shit, then this ain't it.
Then I don't want that drama. I don't want that worry. I am raising a black boy. I got enough shit in the world that is constantly stressing me out. Then be stressing about whether or not this nigga want to be around, or he keeping his girlfriend around because he trying. Like, if that's what you're trying to do,
go do that.
Do it.
Yeah.
So sorry, what were we saying?
I don't even remember no more, girl.
Oh shit.
Oh, I do. I was gonna say that in those situations, I think when somebody is still friends, like for example, in the few situations with somebody who I was friends with, like I felt the onus was on me to make sure that my partner felt comfortable. So in that case, it meant that they met that person. You know what I mean? I was upfront about what our relationship was, like how you just asked about my current partner knowing about this other person. Yeah, I told him. I think he met him at some point at a party or something, and I was very upfront. So, because my thing is, I don't ever want somebody else to have more information than you have.
Yeah.
So then you out here looking
dumb.
crazy,
Yeah.
like we don't communicate, and I'm being a fucking asshole. So for me, I try to give I give as much information as possible so that you feel comfortable. And I expect the same thing.
Exactly.
So
with my ex, we used to, when we first started dating, because, I've been in this area in the same area for 20 years now.
Damn.
And I spent most of I grew up here, I came here in college. And so I put some miles on this pussy in this city, and so, I always made it a point to tell him, because he was one of those type of people that be out and be like, oh, I met somebody, you know,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like,
Hey.
hey, full disclosure.
Fuck
And
that
so-
nigga.
And so, exactly. And so, like, after a while, I didn't even have to say much more than, hey, full disclosure. He's like, all right, I got it. You don't need to know details, but at the
Right.
same time, I don't want you out kikiing and
Right.
and smiling in
and
somebody's
this nigga
face.
in his head, like, he don't know I fucked his wife or some,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Like, yeah. So, I always make it a point to, I think it's always good that everybody knows what's going on and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like you said, you're comfortable with your partner, you know, being friends and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so two things have to happen. One is, like I said, with the whole information thing. And I think the other thing is maintaining boundaries, right? Appropriate boundaries.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, making sure that your partner, one, puts your needs around that up front and, at the forefront. And then that if there are things that you are not comfortable with, that they set those boundaries accordingly so that you can feel comfortable in a relationship. I think that's key. And I've absolutely been there and had to point out, hey, I don't like this thing that she did or this message that she left or whatever. And knowing that this nigga is not afraid to then go and set that boundary because it means something to me.
Yeah, because I also feel like part of the problem between Meshach and Lenore is that
Boundaries.
yeah, like she failed to like he's like pushing boundaries left and right and she's just letting him come down, you know?
Yeah. And then feigning like, she don't want, bitch, you want it.
You want it? Because if you did, you would say, nah.
Because if that phone had rang,
girl,
we was about to get something steamy.
yeah, I was definitely mad at that phone.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation, or has there been someone that like y'all just couldn't get right, like y'all things getting hot and steamy and there's always
an interruption?
Yeah, I feel like that's God telling you this ain't where you're trying to go, if that's been the case.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I gotta think about that one. What about you?
Yeah, but it was a I mean, looking back, it was a situation.
It's definitely God saving you.
It was like, you know what, girl,
Don't do
you don't
this.
need to be here doing this. And there was always a, just, I gotta run, or it's a bad timing, or something like that. I did end up fucking him at Ben's Chili Bowl.
Well,
but well, not at Ben's Chili Bowl.
it was at Ben's next door, right?
Yeah. But nonetheless, it was just one of those things where it was like, I need to go. This ain't, like it was just always not
quite right
timing or something like that. And yeah, I think it was just,
it was just God's way of telling you this ain't it, boo. Yeah, I don't think I have.
Because also I think it was a situation where I could have easily been stigmatized. And so it was like, girl, don't get that, don't get a hit.
I mean, was that one time at least good?
Oh, it was more than one time that we did. I mean, and not more than one time there, but it was more than one time. But it's we had enough times during the course of that situation
little window
that was like, oh, this ain't, oh, so yeah, it was a
I'm thirsty.
Yeah, she takes these like long language sips. Did I use the term correct?
Yes.
The SAT word correct? These long
I'll be thirsty. It's a lot of talking.
sips. Okay, so do you remember someone that was your playing with fire person?
I don't know. Did you remember somebody who was my playing with fire person?
Okay. You know what? I think about this every time HBCU homecoming comes around. I be talking to my girls far and wide, and they be like, "Bitch, homecoming."
Nigga. That's always
And everybody, because it hit about what, about 3-4 o'clock, it's starting to get, it's fall. So by about 3-4 o'clock, we starting to go into like, everybody been drinking all day. The sun's starting to set.
And then we get into the club and everybody
Everybody
start
trying
dancing.
to who going to what day party. And honey, that is when the playing with fire bust out.
They can start stopping by our section.
Or even before you go to the section, where y'all
text.
going?
Yeah.
Watch out here. Let me give you my number. Yeah, honey. So yeah, you just gotta.
I'm legit thinking about the people that happened with last year.
Oh shit. Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, this is a bad situation. And I always joke about like homecoming, how like one, again, you gotta be just solid in your shit with your just in life, going around. But I feel like you get to homecoming and everybody start getting on that college fuck shit. And all intentions go out the window.
I mean, everybody's drunk. Everybody's not really trying to go straight home after the day party.
Yeah. It's like, well, let's go get some food. Or come on over and eat. Let's go for the record. I usually have people staying with me, so
You do.
I am not.
Yeah.
I don't get to partake in that kind of fun.
You do.
Shout out to my family that comes.
They do. They be shutting your shit down.
But nonetheless, I think that's really one of those situations where you see that shit playing out in like real time.
Yeah, I will say in general, I'm usually not tempted because I only drink one glass all day, right? I have like one thing of champagne and I'm good because I'm a fucking lightweight.
Whereas I have like a thermos of like Crown. You do. Like just straight Crown.
So I'm like good and sober as I'm going through the day, but that allows me to be able to remember that you was a fuck nigga then and you a fuck nigga now. And it's easy for me to be like, I'm good, but thank you.
I'm good, love. Enjoy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of that.
You definitely see that shit happening in real time. And I mean, like, thankfully I think we have a good group of girlfriends that are quick to see
Swoop in.
shit like that going in.
That ain't it.
I clearly remember being pulled away as well as pulling niggas away. And my dumb ass was sitting there like, but I mean, we was just gonna go over here and talk. And being pulled away like, no, bitch.
No, we're
danger.
not doing that.
Danger. You're in danger.
I'm like, bitch, what are you singing?
Come on now. We need Erica's
Song of the week.
Erica's song of the week. Erica's storytelling time. Okay, so Meshach and Lenore. We know that going back to the playing with fire, planning hair,
Which is interesting because she has fire powers. But anyway.
Yo, I thought that was so dope how he was like fucking with her book, and she was like, "Yo, I'm gonna
your shit up.
burn his." Oh, so okay, the details in this, like just the tiny details in the book, but so evident in this scene, were just amazing.
Yeah.
Big up Kenya Wright.
Yeah,
Like,
she wrote the hell out this book.
like just the there were a bunch of candles, and some of them were suspended in air with the
Right?
like
this bitch's
spell
imagination.
I stole from Walmart,
Right.
Mart. It was just like, how do you think of that? I thought that was so cool. And
that's
then,
why I don't write fiction. I'm like, these bitches got me beat. It's beautiful.
yeah, I mean, back me in this corner, I might be able to come up with an elaborate story, but it would be horrible. But and then also with him fucking around with her book, and then she does the fire up his arm, and then he drops and it stops, and he's like watching his arm heal. Like,
Yeah.
dog,
You can see it all, right?
like that was just so, like, it just added to the warmth.
It puts you there.
Yeah, it just really put you there. And also, I say this constantly. My reading game has fell off. And so it feels good to like be reading and exploring again and like getting excited about like what these authors are writing. So,
Yay.
good pick. Good
Thanks.
pick.
Well, I hope
Thank
that
you.
our listeners get into it. It's really a dope book. And the series is good. I'm halfway through the second one now.
Yeah. So how does this, can you tell us more about like how this?
I don't want to tell you. I will say that Meshach is not her main love interest in the book. It's her homeboy. There's somebody else who is of another type of soup who she is spending time with. So, yeah.
Oh, you suck. Wow.
I mean, you gotta leave some.
Yeah, this whole scene left us like just upset.
And that happens quite a bit as in the beginning of the book. Like there's all this really
what is
this
that?
anticipation.
What is that? God saying, "Look, bitch." This ain't what you're
Yes,
supposed
but
to
it
do.
happens. I mean, it happens with the guy who she ends up with as well. But like, it just builds this anticipation, which is really dope. So then when they finally do, like
Do
for
they
real, yeah, it's like, ooh, okay,
Ooh, girl, finally. Thank you.
glad I waited. Yeah.
Okay, so my bald headed hoe ass loves somebody rubbing my head.
I love it too.
You do?
Oh my gosh. I do. And my partner knows it and just randomly does it. And it, like, yeah.
Yeah, you want to have me somewhere? Oh, yeah, just start rubbing my head.
Yeah, it's the best. It's bad when I'm sleepy, which feels like it's always lately because I will just go to sleep.
Well, hey, he know he know what he's getting into. He knows what he's getting into. Okay, so last question. Like I said, I love the detail and the witch mart hacks and the fire and the playful the friendship that is so apparent between the two of them.
Which is like, isn't it, for me, like that's when sex is always its best, when it can be playful alongside the sexy and all of that, like when it's fun.
Yeah, because I am personally a very sexual person, but I'm also goofy
fun
as
person,
fuck,
yeah.
and so I need to be able to feel like if I have to be sexy time Erica all the time, you're not going to get the full
exhausting, and you won't get it,
compliment of me because I'm constantly with this facade. Now, if I get to authentically be a dork like I am,
Yes.
then you're going to get all the, I'm whipping my hair. You're going to get all the Erica.
Yeah.
So is there something in this particular, I'll say book, but scene that that tickles you the most, that delights you the most?
I really do think it's what you started with. It's that built-in intimacy that is there with them. I just think it's such a great place to start. And it, like, as you're reading the book, like you haven't seen them interact in that way until that scene. And it gives so much background as to who they are and why they talk to each other the way that they do, and sets the scene for what comes next. So yeah, it was the ease of it. And to me, like, not just sex but intimate relationships are their best when you can fully be your whole self, like you were saying in it, and that really resonated with me. Yeah.
Okay. This
you?
made me think of something else.
What?
So I had a situation that reminds me of this, where there was this guy and he showed interest, and I was okay. Let's see what happens. And we kind of had a quick makeout session, but it kind of, we had a quick makeout session, didn't go anywhere, and then I kind of got my wits about me and was like, nah, this ain't even what I'm trying to do. And so I guess you could say we're friends. Not really. Just kind of, we see each other out and about. But now it is always so fucking weird. Like, I saw this motherfucker
really?
the other day, and he was like, I miss my buddy. And I was like, nigga, we was never friends.
Buddies.
Like, what the fuck? You just... And so I could only think about how weird things are with Meshach and Lenore after this constant, like...
It's not weird.
No, what I'm saying for you, have you had I introduced all that to say, have you had a situation where it's like, yeah, you might have fingered me for like 2 seconds, but then I was like, nah, this ain't it.
I got somebody who's like that, where we kind of got into it. We never had like penetrative sex. It was just kind of some fooling around. And it didn't go anywhere. And I was in a super not great place. And I remember a part of me wanted it to go somewhere, but then a part of me was like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it never went anywhere, thankfully. But even now, it's still, luckily I don't ever really see him. He pops up from time to time on fucking Facebook, because that's where niggas like to pop up.
That fucking poke feature. Does Facebook still do the poke?
It does, because somebody from high school poked me, and I didn't know who the fuck that was. Turns out it was somebody who was legit my boyfriend.
And that is
he
like,
existed.
the poke feature is like so
fucking
creepy.
passive aggressive and
Yeah.
non-committal. Like, nigga, say it with your chest. If you got something to say, say it.
Say it
Don't
with your
fucking
chest.
poke
Yeah,
me.
I don't do pokes. You know what? The Facebook poke is the equivalent of a nigga jumping in bed and putting his dick against your booty.
I was gonna say sending this homeboy to come holler at you in the club.
Well,
but
yeah,
that's
so Facebook poke is level 1.
Yes.
Sending a nigga in the club, his homeboy in the club is level 2. And then,
putting
like,
his dick on your butt.
putting his dick on your butt is level 3. And it's just like, ugh, like,
Yeah.
this whole, like, suggesting ain't where we
It
trying
ain't
to
it.
go.
I like some assertiveness.
Honey, if you want it, you're going to have to tell me you want it.
Yeah.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Not on this boulevard.
Not on this motherfucking boulevard. Okay, well, with that was Fire Baptized by Kenya Wright.
It was
These
dope.
are your homegirls, Erica and Kenya,
2 hoes.
making it clap.
This episode was produced by us, Kenria and Erica, and edited by Ballistic. The theme song is from Brazy. We want to hear from y'all. Send recommendations for books you want us to read on the show and all the questions that you want us to answer related to sex and all the other stuff. You can send those to theturnonpodcast@gmail.com. And please take a moment to review the show, 5 stars only please, and subscribe to us in your favorite podcast app. Then follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast, and head over to theturnonpodcast.com to find links to the books that we feature, transcripts of our shows, and info on all the guests that we talk about. Bye!